Hello everyone and welcome to Caroline's Craft Tree. Welcome to another episode of our yearly 2022 freebie journal. Today I am going to attempt to make a lace skirt to go around the journal. I have never made this before. I did see a video of a lady that made one. And you think I can find the video now? No. So I'm just making it up as I go, and we're going to cross our fingers that it works. So I've got my journal. I've got a piece of, I have no idea what kind of fabric. It's a fairly, maybe muslin? I'm not sure. Just some kind of cotton or something. It's 5 inches wide. I went 5 inches because I don't know why. Like I say, I'm just kind of making this as I go along, and it's going to be folded eventually, and there'll be a seam on it, etc. So I wanted to have, I'd rather have too much than not enough. So I got that. I've got a little strip, and it is, about 1.25 inches. This is going to be my ties. So I got that. And I've got a whole bunch of wider lace. Some new, some vintage, etc. So I'm going to use that. Now, as I say, I'm making this up as I go along. So there's probably a better way, but this is the way I've got it in my head. So what I did was I put this around it. You can see a line that I made. I drew it on there so then I know how far to take my lace. So I just kind of wrapped it around my journal, like so. And I only want the lace coming to the edge. So this little bit will be to tuck it under to make a nice finished seam that you're not really going to see. So eventually you will get the idea. There's a line over on this side too. Okay. So my thought is, this is what I'm planning. I've got this here really nice vintage lace. Beautiful, beautiful lace. That is going to be my first layer. And it's going to be sticking down out of the bottom about that far, so as wide as these are, so probably a good 1/2 inch or so. Then I've got this lace, which I dyed this lace here, and it's going to go on top. Now the idea is to just layer up your lace how you want it, sew it together, make kind of a little band with a tie. This is what's going on in my head. I've got this piece of white lace. This is new lace, and it's going to go on top, and I'm going to be able to see that green underneath. Then we've got this purple, which is the same as the green, just dyed purple. Now I'm putting up quite a ways, like maybe about there. Now it's going to get to the point where you can only see the ends, and that's okay. Then I've got this beautiful, beautiful antique lace. This is quite vintage, this stuff. And it's going to go somewhere around there. And then I have this stuff here, which is going to go on the top, but I'm going to see the purple sticking through. So now this will be removable. So you could have it on the journal, off the journal, whatever, because I really like the fabric that's underneath this. So you'll be able to take this off and you'll still be able to see that. Or you could use this on another journal. But this is my thought. And all this lace is going to get sewn onto here. Now, it's going to get sewn on the bottom part, because once it's sewn on, like my lace will be on this side. So then I'll just flip this over and flip that over somehow and sew it so that it's kind of finished. Then you won't see all my stitching. Might even leave a bit there so then that can go up. This can go down and down. And then that would get stitched together. So that's my plan at this point. As I say, I have never made this before, so I have no idea. I'm going to try to figure this out here. Like I say, being that I've never done it before, I have no idea. So I'm just going to draw a line here a bit. Okay, so I'm going to say no lace, no sewing beyond this point, because then that way it could get folded up. And then let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. So if I go up, these laces here, if I have them, I'm going to need to stitch a couple. I'm going to need a couple inches of stitching. So if I go 2 inches of, that's where my stitching's going to go. That gives me 2.5 inches, which would give me enough to fold up. Let's do that. So we'll just do a little bit of a mark here. I do want it to be relatively straight. And I do want it to be relatively pretty. Let's just draw this here. And here. Okay, so this is where my lace is going to be stitched. So that would get folded up. Then this could get folded down and over and stitched to that so that I can finish it. So then my stitching is going to be in the middle. So the back side's going to be pretty too. I hope. Now let's get some pins, because I'm probably going to need some pins. Some of those. Let's put on this big one first. Now still trying to figure all this out. So if that's like that, when that is sewn down, I'm trying to get this straight in my head. Then that will get folded up. My stitching will be going through, and then that will get folded. Okay, perfect. That's what we are going to do. So this one is going to go, let's trim up this end a bit. Not quite sure how we're going to trim it up. I think I'm just going to take off some of this loose stuff here along the edge. No, let's try this here. We're going to cut it up here. I got to cut it fairly straight in order to have it along the edge. So that's it's kind of hard cutting lace because it's hard to get it straight. Okay, let's And a lot of this will be covered, so it's not like totally end of the world or anything. I'm going to put that one just a little over the line, so that way I'm catching this here. And then I can trim that little bit off after. Now I want that to be, my line is on the other side, but as long as it's close, it doesn't have to be like exact. Okay. Now I think, let's see. Hopefully I'm staying in frame. If I have that coming down, it's going to be right around there. Okay, let's cut her and see what happens. Try to get an idea of where I'm going and make it fairly straight. Harder said than done, or harder done than said. Okay, that is going to be my first layer. Now I'm going to be stitching these on one at a time. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to put this on here and see how it's going to be for size. That is pretty good, actually. Got a couple little pieces, but that's okay if they hang over. Like, it's okay if some hangs over. I kind of wanted it all hanging over, but then I wouldn't be able to tie it. So I decided to just make the lace come up to the ends. I think that is going to work. So that will be on there. And I'm just going to put some pins in it to hold it while I'm stitching it. As I say, never made one. I haven't even tried this yet. Quite often when I do a video, I'll make one just to make sure that it's going to work. And this, I have not. I'm purely going by memory on what I've seen on a YouTube video that I can no longer find. And I did a whole bunch of searching, and I searched in Pinterest, and I could find other ones that were, you know, kind of the same idea, but not the one I had bookmarked or saved or whatever I did with it. Okay, now just out of curiosity, I want to see, now this can come up. Okay, I'm going to raise this up more because I need more to go this way. Out comes the pins. And I'm going to raise it up to about there. Let's put in a pin, and we'll just put in one pin this time and see where we're at. There, that's better, because now I'm going to have a bit more to pull up so I can do the stitching. Perfect. That is what I wanted. Let's put our few pins in there. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to figure this out, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'll do all the sewing, and then I'll come back once I get all the lace sewed into place, and then we'll go from there. Because I'm going to try and use my sewing machine. It's been sitting there for the last 2 years probably. So I'm not even sure if it works anymore. If not, I will sew it by hand. And then once I get the lace sewn on, then I will come back, because I'm going to sew this piece on, then I'm going to pin this one on, sew it on, put the next one on, sew it on. So when I get all these sewn on, I will be back to show you what I have. Okay, so I've got the first piece sewn on. I sewed it by hand because my machine is not being very nice to me. Very easy to sew on hand, just a bit of a, not really a running stitch, just in and out really quick. And it's going to look good. You're not even going to see that. The only one you'll really see is this one here that I'm going to put on top. So, and it's fitting nice. I'm happy with the way that it's fitting as to the picture that was in my hand. Next, we are going to put this green one on, and we are going to pin it down and stitch it on. So I'm going to, you could even glue these down. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to glue them down. I'm going to just trim this a little bit, because I think it's really crooked. Or I might have just made it worse, who knows. Okay, now I want this piece to show a fair bit because I really, really like it. And I can't go any further. This is my lowest point to sew, is going to be that one. So I think I'll put it just above it, just a tiny little bit, and I'll do my best to even it out. I just want to make sure that everything's going to work okay, because this one here is going to be fairly low, almost in the same spot. Actually, I might save some time and sew those two on together and put them in the exact same spot. Then I've only got to sew once and sew them both in. No, I think I want a little bit more green showing. Okay, so that'll go there. And then the purple I'll do way up because I want to see the purple out the top. And I'm not going to stitch the very top of the purple. If I do, it'll be very light stitching, just to tack down that edge. Because then this one here will be down a bit. And then this one on the very top with the purple showing through. And the main thing is that I don't go over 2 inches from what I'm stitching. So 2 inches will take me right to the center of that flower, which is perfect for what I want. So, okay, that's what we will do. Let's stitch down, well, we'll pin down this green one. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have those flowers right along where I just stitched those ones, hoping that it's going to keep me a little bit even. I'm hoping. So I will go ahead, I will get this sewn down, and I'll either come back, I'll probably just sew on all of them because you get the idea of what I'm going to do. And the next step really isn't going to come until all of these laces are sewn down. So let's do that, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I have all my lace sewn on. It's like I just did a stitch across, so the pieces are loose, which I like. Here is the back of my stitching, nothing fancy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down some. So I kind of figured out what I need, because when I fold this down, I want it to be in the middle of these flowers, like running across here, because I don't want to see that fabric up in the purple section. So I'm going to cut some of this off. So I've made a little nick right there, and I'm just going to rip it across. Good way to make it nice and straight. I have my 2 pieces that I'm going to use as my ties as well, because I'm going to have to tie those in when I go to do the sewing. So what I'm going to do, and this is by no means the proper way to sew this, but it will do. I'm going to have that folded in. This will fold up. I'm going to put this in here. And just because of the width, this might be a little bit, so I'm going to just curl just the frill along the edge. And now this is going to go down. It's going to take a little bit now, and I will pin all of this. And then this will tuck under. And I'll stitch these 2 together. Now I'll probably take it over to my iron and do a little bit of ironing, just to make it easier. But then that's going to be like that. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I can wrap it around my journal and tie it with these. So I will sew this onto here first, just to give it a little more stability. And then I will go ahead and do this part. Now I wrap this around my journal, and it fits just perfectly. So it's going to be, actually, go the right way. So this will be on like that. And of course, once this is tucked down, it'll be like that. And it'll be wrapped around. Like so. And then, of course, these you won't see, these. And then this will come out of here, minus this here bit. So it'll kind of appear like that. And then the 2 pieces here will tie and make a big bow along the side. I think it looks nice. I like the colors. The colors kind of go together. And then when you untie the journal, you can take this right off so you can see the whole cover. So this is going to take a little bit of fussing and ironing and sewing. But I think I'm on the right track. Like I say, I have not done this before, so it's a new thing for me. I stitched most of it with just a off-white, but this one I stitched with white because I didn't want to see it. And I just stitched right across there, catching where the center of the flower is and along this top part. And like this is still kind of loose and this is loose. But I think that's going to add just that little bit of motion to the cover. I think it'll look good. But I'm liking it so far. The true test is going to be when it's finished and I can actually tie it on to the journal. But I'm liking it. So I'm going to take it to my iron. I'm going to iron it. And then I'm going to stitch it. And then when I'm all done, I'll bring it back over to here. And we'll tie it right onto the journal and we'll see how it works. See you in a bit. Okay, I am back. I've got it all sewn together. It's actually turned out really, really cute. I actually put it on as an apron and went out and showed hubby and told him, made an apron for in the kitchen. He just giggled. Anyways, it is done. Here is the back. It's nice and neat, sort of. It's all hand stitched, so, but you could easily do it on the machine. Now, let's try it on the journal and see how it fits. Now, we could put it anywhere. You could put it way up, you could put it way down. My idea was about there. So now we can bring it over here and let's tie these into a big bow. I'm thinking there's so much here. I might either trim it down, but I was also thinking maybe, not even sure how to make a double bow, but let's see what we can do here. I'm not sure. Let's just do a single bow. Not really sure how to do a double bow, but I'm going to leave these long anyways. Just because. And there we have a book apron, or whatever we want to call it. It's a little bit short on this side. Just didn't, there we go. Could have made it just a tiny little bit wider, not by much. I did want it kind of against the edge. There's the binding, or the spine, I mean. It's covered up all my strings. My strings start right there for my signatures. I think that turned out pretty nice, actually. I like it. It didn't take me that long to actually stitch all this by hand. I was actually surprised. It's been maybe 4 hours since I actually started it, and I've been just doing videos as I go along. And during that time, I had supper and did a couple other things around the house. So probably only a couple hours of stitching, so that's not too bad. I'm liking how it's turning out. We're just about done. I think there'll be one more, just a total flip through of everything. I'm not sure if I'll put a dangle or not. I'll have to see what I've got for dangles and kind of go from there. But I think it turned out really, really good, considering I had no idea what I was doing. I think a gathered lace would look really good on this, but I don't have any gathered lace. I normally don't use gathered lace. So hopefully you can follow my instructions. If you have any questions, leave me a message because I'll do my best to answer them on how I made them. It was fairly straightforward, I think, overall. And I think I did pretty good considering this was my very first one. But it's nice that these just kind of flop around on the edge. There we go. Check out the other playlists for this. Check out, of course, all the freebies that have happened through 2022. And stay tuned for some in 2023. Check out Facebook, Etsy, coffee site, all that. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.